Movie Time is brought to you by the Gateway Film Center, 1550 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio. Further details and showtimes online at Gateway Film Center at gatewayfilmcenter.org.
The award-winning It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
And I'm Linda Baas McClelland.
This is
It's Movie Time.
It sure is. Linda, today I think we have a little bit of a different movie.
Oh boy.
Just opened up this last week. No, I think it does open next Friday.
I think you're right.
Right, okay. Just opened The Red Turtle. Now the reason I say it's a challenge is this is a minimalist Japanese animation, and for a guy who loves to live minimally, and I think you aspire somewhat to that, it's an appealing movie. But we suspect it's a challenge for us because it appears not to be as dense and as full as, say, Manchester by the Sea.
Oh, right.
But anyway, I think there are beautiful things to say about this. So my first question is, one of your many talents is that you are an interior designer. And it doesn't mean that you're an expert in Japanese animation, but you certainly can appreciate the visual properties of this film.
Right.
So anything outstanding for our audience?
Well, you need to mention in the beginning that I could not imagine a movie or a film without any dialogue.
Oh,
there
right.
was not one spoken word for 80 minutes.
Oh, you're right.
And that's hard to imagine in a world where we are constantly bombarded by words, and we check the headlines in the paper to see the president's tweets, and we stress to get to our emails and check our text messages. So this is entirely different, and I did not know what to expect.
Great point.
When the Japanese animation studio Ghibli
boy,
asked Dutch animator Michael Dudok de Wit to create the Red Turtle, he was even a little worried about this, so he took off for a deserted island, and he took thousands and thousands of photographs to try to capture what this would be like, the silence of it, the quiet.
Now we've had in literature Robinson Crusoe, we've had in film Castaway with Tom Hanks. So the idea of a castaway is not new to us. There's something magnetic about that topic.
Right, it is.
And so he depicts a young man who has a wreck on his boat and is left on a deserted island.
Right. We're not even sure how he gets there. We just watch him struggle to get on shore.
Listen, and let me interject by saying the depiction of those waves is just beautiful.
Right.
And there is a tsunami later on.
Right.
I think their animation, as starkly simple as it is,
and it's the artistic qualities of this animation that does pull us in and accept the fact that there are no words. He hand draws all these images in unique, lush, soft colors, and then in contrast uses black and white for the dark, starry nights.
Oh, aren't they beautiful?
Oh, yes. And the beautiful score hits all the right emotional notes. So you forget after a while that there are no words.
You know, this is the legacy of Hayao Miyazaki and the House of Ghibli, and you can tell everyone you see. Remember, they've won awards for Spirited Away a few years ago, and my favorite, Howl's Moving Castle, I think it was. So there's something so beautiful in this simplicity and in that depth of color and in the simple lines.
Right.
I mean, even our major character has just dots for eyes.
Right.
And a very small mouth. It seems like he's just a small version of us or something like that.
Right.
But they have a way of just capturing our attention.
And Dudok de Wit took 9 years to make this film. I mean, he really wanted to get it right. And it takes the old fable of a frog turning into a prince and totally turns it upside down. So I think that's kind of fascinating too.
Well, don't you think? One of the interesting things about this film is that we weren't upset by the fact that they include some pretty outrageous magic realism. I mean, there is so much of this film that is just like gosh, that's what I'd have to do if I were stuck in it. I'd have to climb trees
Right.
to get this avocado looking like fruit. I'd have to try to build a boat with all of the
Right.
bamboo that I have
Mhm.
here.
And then figure out how to push it into
Right.
the water.
And then all of a sudden, we get this red turtle turns into a princess. In
well,
sense.
yes, and you, first of all, you need to understand that he pushes this raft into the water repeatedly, and there's some mysterious force below this raft that is just destroying it. And yes, it turns out to be the red turtle that eventually follows him back onto the island. He takes a stick and repeatedly hits the turtle over the head, leaves it for dead, and
He
of course,
turns it over, which is, of course,
Yeah.
death for a turtle.
right, and then it miraculously turns into a beautiful woman. But you don't want to. I don't want to make it a spoiler by telling the rest.
Well,
of the story,
you know,
but
this is such a simple story.
yes,
I
it
don't think we're spoiling it by telling them, and even the trailer would reveal this to you, because you do
True.
see a couple walking down and you kind of wonder.
Yes.
So to me, the important thing about this film is what I think you've been implying, and what I certainly believe, is how do they keep our attention with such a fable, so simple?
Right.
And I would add on to the visual delight that you're talking about, and to, you know, if you're open-minded, to the beauty of this magic realism when she appears,
Right.
and everything happens that you would expect. I would add to that the allegorical implications, which are so many, not the least of which for me is, how do you survive without all your junk? Right? You know, remember I said this was minimalist.
Yes.
This guy has very little
He has
to
nothing.
survive. He has nothing, but he gets along just fine.
Right. And he has his imagination.
Oh, you bet.
And by that, he draws us into his imagination. And that's why we are content to sit there and let our imaginations become part of his and just watch this story quietly, slowly unfold. It's almost hypnotic.
Oh, it is. And can you imagine life without your cell phone? I mean, it has all those questions
Right.
for me.
Boy, yeah.
And also, one of the big issues here, again, obvious, is how we relate to nature.
I wondered about that, whether this was like a commentary on ecology, or was it just a story that reminds you just the importance of a simple life. I don't know whether this was supposed to be for children, but I can't imagine children sitting through this or even getting or appreciating the imagery.
You know what? That's a question that I have mulled over, and I have thought, yes, you know, for my 5-year-old grandson, I think I might try it.
Oh.
I just would love to see the answer to your question. Can it hold their attention? And thinking it over, it is so beautifully wrought. It is so primal in the sense of survival. It is so important in the way that even my grandson or granddaughter would relate to their cat or their dog. So that I wonder if they can't easily then identify with the little crabs, for instance, for their comic relief.
Right.
Or even the big turtle, and how interesting it is when they swim with the turtles.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, a long way around by saying I have all kinds of questions like that, but I do believe that a child, maybe no less than 5 years old, probably 6, 7, 8, might truly enjoy it. Let us say for sure, unless you're so picky that you have to have total realism, that adults would love this film. Yeah, right. So you shake your head and you.
Well, it takes a certain kind of person, I think, to appreciate this film, and I am artistic, so I did appreciate it maybe more than a lot of people would.
Oh, anyway, Linda Baas McClelland.
Yes, sir.
The animation is The Red Turtle. What grade would you award it?
Like I said, in a quiet way, it's captivating, but I don't think this is for everyone.
Okay.
So I give it a B.
Good. All right. And of course, I'm just way out there. It just fascinates me, so I will award it an A. And that's not half bad in its movie time.
Right.
If you think about the middle grade there, I think just about everybody would like it, and if you don't like it, you can always walk out.
That's right. I think I'll keep my feet on dry land for a while.